What you are about to hear is a version of the creation story that has been hidden, dismissed, or outright banned from modern biblical canon. This is not the familiar tale you've heard from Genesis. This is the Book of Jubilees, an ancient, scriptural record once revered and read alongside the Torah, but later cast aside. Why? Because it reveals too much. In this video, we're diving deep into the creation and life of Adam and Eve according to the Book of Jubilees. The full, unfiltered record, names, numbers, years, revelations, angelic visitations, and the lives of their children. You'll discover shocking truths about how long Adam lived in Eden before his fall, the exact dates when Adam and Eve were created, and the identities of their children beyond Cain and Abel. You'll learn what the angels did before, during, and after the creation of man, what commandments were given to Adam in Eden, and how the Sabbath was established from the beginning. This is the story of Adam and Eve that religion never wanted you to know. The Book of Jubilees begins with a divine encounter, not on earth, but on Mount Sinai. It is the year 2498 after creation. Moses has ascended the mountain, and there, the Most High speaks directly to him, not through riddles or visions, but through an angel of the presence, a holy being who records divine events as they occur. This angel is not merely a messenger, he is a heavenly scribe, assigned by God himself to recount the entire history of creation as it was written in the heavenly tablets. These tablets are not symbolic, they are literal. They contain every act, every law, every ordinance established since the beginning of time. The angel tells Moses that what is about to be revealed must be written down for the generations to come. It will be a witness. It will explain not only the origin of man but also the reason for judgment, the division of days and years, and the separation between the righteous and the wicked. This is a document of law and order, a record of time, and a binding testimony for Israel. So the angel begins, from the beginning, not with Adam, but with the creation of heaven and earth itself. Creation takes place over 6 days, but Jubilees expands what Genesis condenses. Here's how it unfolds. Day 1. Heaven and earth are created. The entire physical world is framed. The abyss, darkness, light, water, and the foundations of the earth are established. Time itself is born, the basis for days and nights. Day 2. God creates the firmament in the midst of the waters. This separates the waters above, the heavenly waters, from the waters below. Heaven is made with 3 distinct levels. Day 3. Dry land emerges. Seas are gathered. Every plant, herb, tree, and seed-bearing vegetation is brought into being, each according to its kind. Paradise is planted in Eden at this time, though not yet assigned to Adam. Eden is set aside as a holy place, a future dwelling. Day 4. The sun, moon, and stars are created. But in Jubilees, this day is emphasized for another reason. It is the origin of the calendar. The heavenly lights are created not only to divide day and night, but to establish holy seasons, festivals, and years. Timekeeping becomes a divine law, tied to heavenly cycles, not human tradition. Day 5. All creatures of the sea and birds of the sky are formed. Each species is ordered into its habitat. Day 6. Beasts of the earth and cattle are created. Then, lastly, man. But before man is formed, the angels are created. The angels of the presence, the angels of sanctification, guardian angels, and angels of destruction. These beings are appointed to watch over time, law, and nations. God sanctifies all his work, but it is the Sabbath, the 7th day, that he makes holy above all. He rests, not because he is weary, but to establish rest as a sacred law. This 7th day becomes a sign between God and his people forever, first witnessed by the angels before any human ever walked the earth. On the 6th day of the first week of the first year of creation, God created Adam, the first man, from the dust of the ground. He breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and Adam became a living soul. But unlike Genesis, the Book of Jubilees tells us that something else very significant happened when Adam was created. As soon as Adam was formed, God issued a command in the heavens. All the angels of God were to worship Adam. It was a divine order from the Creator himself, because Adam had been made in the image and likeness of God, and so heaven was instructed to honor him. All the holy angels obeyed this command and bowed before Adam, except one. That angel was Mastema, also known as the prince of the evil spirits. When God commanded the angels to worship Adam, Mastema refused. He rebelled. His refusal was an act of pride and disobedience. This moment marks the earliest known act of rebellion in heaven after creation. Unlike the rebellion of Satan in later Christian traditions, the Book of Jubilees does not say that Mastema was cast out immediately. Instead, Mastema remained active in the world and would later go on to play a major role throughout biblical history as the leader of the evil spirits, tempter of mankind, and enemy of God's people. His full punishment and judgment are reserved for the final day of judgment. But from that moment of Adam's creation, a division was made, obedience on one side, rebellion on the other. Now, returning to the creation of man, after God made Adam, he did not immediately place him into the Garden of Eden. Instead, Adam stayed in the very land where he had been created, outside the garden, for 40 days. During this time, Adam was being purified and taught. The angels of sanctification were sent to him to instruct him in righteousness, to teach him about God's laws, and to show him how to distinguish between clean and unclean, holy and profane. Adam learned the importance of the Sabbath and how to honor God's appointed times. He wasn't living like a primitive man. He was being trained as the first high priest of creation. Then, after 40 days, on day 46 of creation, the angels brought Adam into the Garden of Eden. The garden was located in the east, and it was a real, physical place with specific boundaries. Inside the garden, there were trees of every kind. 2 trees were at the center, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God told Adam clearly that he could eat from every tree except one, the tree of knowledge. That tree was off limits. God warned Adam plainly, if he ate from it, he would surely die. After Adam was brought into Eden, God saw that he was alone, and said it was not good for man to be by himself. So, on the 6th day of the 2nd week, day 13 of creation, God created Eve, the first woman. She was formed from one of Adam's ribs while he was in a deep sleep, and she was made to be his equal and his companion. Eve, like Adam, was not taken into Eden right away. After her creation, she remained in the place she was formed for 80 days. This period of separation was also for purification, as it was divinely commanded that a female be purified for 80 days. So while Adam entered the garden on day 46, Eve entered Eden on day 93, a full 47 days after Adam had already begun his life in the garden. Now both Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, together. Inside Eden they were not alone. The angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification visited them and continued to teach them. They were taught the laws of heaven, about the Sabbath, about offerings, about holiness. They understood the difference between good and evil even before the fall. The idea that Adam and Eve were ignorant is false. They were educated, instructed, and warned. The garden itself had 4 rivers flowing from it, the Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates. These rivers watered the earth and marked the sacred geography of creation. Adam and Eve were now settled in the Garden of Eden. The garden was not a wilderness. It was a sanctuary, a holy territory set apart from the rest of the earth, with exact borders, real rivers, and daily angelic presence. Everything they needed was provided. But there was one law that stood above the rest. You may eat of every tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. Command given to Adam before Eve's arrival. According to Jubilees 3 verses 15 to 17, exactly 7 years after Adam and Eve entered the garden, the serpent approached Eve. This is a critical detail that's not given in Genesis. The fall did not happen immediately. It occurred after 7 full years of obedience. During those years, they kept the Sabbath, honored God's laws, and lived righteously. But in the 8th year, the serpent, acting under the influence of Mastema, approached Eve while she was alone. The serpent, in the Book of Jubilees, is not a talking animal by nature. He was used by Mastema, the same rebellious angel who refused to worship Adam at creation, as a tool to deceive Eve. Mastema did not come in physical form, but he manipulated the serpent to speak, tempt, and twist the commandment of God. The serpent questioned what God had said. He used doubt and desire as his weapons. He told Eve that she would not surely die, but that eating the fruit would open her eyes, and she would be like God, knowing both good and evil. Eve listened. She looked at the fruit. She desired wisdom, and so she took it and ate. Then she gave it to Adam, and he ate also. That moment changed everything. Immediately their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked. Shame entered the human experience. They made coverings for themselves out of fig leaves. But it wasn't the nudity that was the problem. It was the disobedience. When God came into the garden and questioned them, Adam blamed Eve, and Eve blamed the serpent. But God did not accept excuses. He passed judgment on all three. God made garments of skin for Adam and Eve, coverings that were durable and protective. And Jubilees says they were taken from the garden with them when they were expelled. These garments would later be passed down to their descendants. Then came the exile. Adam and Eve were removed from the Garden of Eden. According to Jubilees 3:32, this happened on the new moon of the 4th month, a very specific date. However, I want you to listen to that again. They disobeyed God on the 17th day of the 2nd month of the 8th year, but they were not cast out immediately. They were expelled from Eden on the 1st day of the 4th month of the 8th year. That's a period of 44 days between their sin and their exile. During those 44 days, according to Jubilees, Adam and Eve were still in the garden, but under judgment until the official removal. The garden was closed off, and cherubim, powerful angels, were placed at the gates, along with a flaming sword that turned in every direction to guard the way to the tree of life. God stationed the angels to ensure that no one, neither Adam, Eve, nor any of their children, could return and take from the tree of life and live forever in a sinful state. Before sending them out, God gave Adam and Eve instructions for the future. He told them how to live in the land outside Eden. He commanded them to cover their shame, to keep the Sabbath, and to teach their children to obey God's law. This was the beginning of life outside the garden, the beginning of labor, hardship, family, death, and the long road toward redemption. But even in judgment, God made a way for order. The law was not lost, the Sabbath was not canceled, and Adam and Eve were not abandoned. Their exile was a consequence, but it was also the beginning of the human journey, with a divine calendar, sacred instruction, and the hope of redemption still alive. This is the first episode of the series, and there's a lot more I'll show you. Like and subscribe now so you don't miss out. Until next time.